G'day everyone, welcome to another episode of The Profitable Practice. Jason Pilgrim here with one of Australia's leading exercise physiologists and dietitians, Jo, and we're going to get stuck in straight after this with her top tips as to how an allied health professional can be super successful in business. Okay, so we all know and we've all heard the story that success leaves clues. Well, Jo Turner is with me, good friend of mine, EP colleague, also a dietitian, worked with some amazing sports people, private practice in Sydney, big team, TV, cookbooks, all sorts of stuff. She's an absolute legend. Hey, Jo, thank you for joining us again for another podcast.
Hi, Jason. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so let's just dive straight in. I've already told everyone success leaves clues. You've had a lot of success over a pretty illustrious career. Can't believe that you've done 20 odd years and you're only about 30. So I'm earning my stripes now, aren't I?
So when I was 10.
Yeah. So look, let's dive straight in. You've learned a lot of lessons over the years. You've found a lot of good secrets that work and that are fantastic for allied health professionals to get ahead, whether it's in a corporate environment, whether it's doing speaking tours, writing books, being on TV. You do a lot of work, whether it's with Tennis Australia, Golf Australia, Cronulla Sharks, Parramatta Eels, a whole lot of everyone else. But let's get stuck in and have a bit of a power session right now in regards to your top 5 tips. Now, I know that might be hard to only limit it to 5. Which I said a minute ago, you're good to go, and you went, I don't know whether I can do 5, but we'll be all right. We'll get through it. So it's not only the 5, it's just the top 5 that you think are most relevant right now for the industry and what you feel is going to make allied health professionals successful. Jo, lead us off. Number 1, what do you think it would be?
I think number 1, you have to love what you do. You have to love this industry. You have to be passionate about it. And you have to love helping people. Now, that's one tip. This is love.
And it's not in a ranked order either. It's just 5 of the best.
Yeah, but I think, I was speaking to a GP the other day and he says, the thing is you come across as you really care about your patients. I go, I absolutely do. Every single patient. You can't actually teach that to health professionals. There are people that don't actually care. I care. Every grandparent that comes in, it's like they're my own nana. Every person that walks in this door is literally as though they are an absolute VIP individual. You have to pretend you are, this is the Prime Minister or this is whoever celebrity that you want this person to do well. That every single client that walks out this door is technically a billboard for your business. And when I have someone that loses 50 kilos, 40 kilos, 30 kilos and keeps it off, I can guarantee you they bring other people back in the door. That people go, hang on a minute, you have to go see Jo because she made a difference when no one else could. And that's mainly because I actually give them energy. And it does take energy to give your patients energy so that they, one, know that you're committed and that you're actually caring, I'm just dealing out the same diet, the same exercise to everyone because this is the Jo Turner diet. This isn't the Jo Turner diet. I write specific plans and get to know their life so that I can actually not only make them get their goals, but I want them to do it in the easiest way possible. Yeah. So there is a faster way. There's how many roads lead to Rome. There is a million ways to get them to where they want to go to, but I want to get them in the fastest, easiest, quickest, and healthiest, safest way for them to actually achieve their goals. So I think number 1, you have to really love what you do if you're going to do this kind of business in seeing clients individually. So you still might be passionate about the industry, but you have to be passionate about your patients and your clients if you want to do private practice.
Cool. All right. So we've now, fantastic. I absolutely love it. And so many people that I work with, they get into this industry because they love the industry. They want to help people. But that also creates the complexities too, doesn't it? Running a private practice or being a business owner is completely different to why they got into the industry in the first place. So there's complexities there as well. But all right, so we love what we do. We love working with our clients face to face, getting in, changing their lives, knowing that one person's no more important than anyone else, and we need to get in and do something individual and specific and really help them out. What are we doing then? What's number 2?
Believe they can't do it without you.
Okay.
Now, this is the mistake I actually got taught at university, that they actually told us at university that we need to get them to be as accountable for themselves. And essentially, we need to do ourselves out of a job. That we need to be able to empower our patients and educate them so well that they no longer need us. And I actually think that is total garbage. That there's no dentist in this country that can clean your teeth, teach you how to brush and floss so well that you're never going to need a dentist again. The dentist will say you need to have a 6-month checkup. And particularly when it comes to obesity or anyone that's actually needed a large intervention. So if someone's ever needed root canal therapy as a dentist, no dentist, I think it's a duty of care that dentist says, hey, let's see you in 6 months and let's try and prevent root canal therapy. And particularly as diet and exercise changes as life goes on, that I can't teach someone at 14 how they're supposed to eat for the rest of their life. I can teach them how they eat at 14. So at the very least, I believe our patients should actually be seeing us more acutely in their acute phase and their intervention phase. They need to be seeing us more frequently. But actually getting them to understand that they do need to be seeing their dietitian, their exercise physiologist at least twice a year, at least every 6 months.
I think that comes down partly because of the education process as well. And we don't want to try and
over-service. We constantly get taught not to over-service. That what I find is most health professionals end up under-servicing, or they start actually worrying about how much it's going to cost the patient.
Yeah.
So if
I also find that this is a big thing with compensatory bodies, like it's all about discharge, like you think about physios are always taught to, discharge, and we hear the private health insurers are, send out their letters and that to, like a physio saying that that they're seeing one of their clients 3.1 times on average, and the industry is 3.6. So you're doing a better job at getting the clients, recovered quicker, etc. Which, in fact, let's be honest, it's just saving the shareholders money for the company. Let's be completely honest. Just because you're discharging quicker doesn't mean you're actually giving them the...
Or are they retaining? I see it the opposite, that those patients, when I've had other dietitians work for me and I know they didn't care about the patients, they cared about having a job and they liked learning about nutrition, but they didn't care about the clients, that they didn't have the same return rate. So from one visit, only half of them even came back for a review consultation because they didn't get that rapport building.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's a very fine line between over-servicing and under-servicing. I'm limited by time. Often it's a 2-week, 3-week, 4-week wait to actually come in and see me. And so I often sometimes think I really need to see them in 2 weeks, but I actually don't have an appointment slot until 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So you don't want to over-service. I always say when I'm mentoring allied health professionals, and I've mentored lots of them coming straight out of uni, is imagine the service was for free. How often would you want to see them? Because you're only seeing them how much you need. So don't over-service them if you don't think they need that. But I personally know that the research has shown that, particularly for obesity, if someone's had to lose more than 15 kilos of weight, if they do not have ongoing treatment at least every 6 months, there are a 97% chance of regaining that weight. So you're actually doing them a disservice if you don't continue to see them. And
it's actually worse to underservice than what it actually is to overservice.
Yeah, and the same with exercise. Like if you
private health, you won't hear compensatory bodies, you won't hear that from the, the APAs, the S's, etc., etc. And I'm not criticising anyone, but they're very much into let's save money, let's keep the consult numbers down, let's do clinical reasoning, etc., etc. But we actually know that we're forcing ourselves to push back against what we're being told, because we actually know, and the data proves that what we're actually doing and trying to do more of is actually in the best interest of the client.
Exactly. I don't want to over-service. I don't want to actually ever charge someone. If people are doing well, I actually send their appointments further apart. If they're not doing well and they need more assistance, then they see me more frequently. And so sometimes I said it, if I find that they are a very self-accountable person, But I want to reassess, has their fitness levels have dropped? Has their strength levels dropped? So it's not just has their weight changed, but a doctor can't say, oh, well, you know what, I've checked your blood pressure, I've put you on blood pressure medication, I've taught you how to monitor your blood pressure at home yourself, you never need to see me again. So there's never anyone else in the health industry that says that you never need
silly enough to do that.
No. And with exercise, if you don't actually have your consultations frequent enough, they needed to increase their weights because we're doing, you need to actually stage your exercise program, that if you're actually not assessing that exercise program, and often with exercise physiologists, you need to see them once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, but then you can spread them out, but never to forever. So never actually, I don't believe, and I say, I don't care if you go see another dietitian. It's not because I need the clients and I want to keep you on my books forever. And there are in some cases that you don't need to. So if someone, you do a dental checkup of someone and you haven't seen them for 4 years and their enamel still looks fine and you go, clearly, you don't need to see me. Well, then, yeah, they're not a 6 month therapy. And we know, the lifestyle intervention, how many people have got diabetes and heart disease and lifestyle related diseases. And I think that's because I believe everyone needs to see a dietitian and an exercise physiologist at least once to have an assessment, like an eye exam, to try and rule out the people that do have the issue and need intervention. And then the people that don't need the intervention, they probably don't need to see us very often.
Awesome. Okay, so we've got the second one. Let's make sure that we're not over-servicing, but we're not obviously under-servicing in that respect as well. Let's kick it out into number 3.
Third is knowing your worth. Okay, you do not want to overcharge and you don't want to undercharge. I have lots of health professionals that I mentor that way undercharge their services, and they're not just doing them.
They can't afford it, so I'm going to bulk bill, Joe.
Yeah, this does my head in. One, they're actually doing a disservice to the entire industry, and they're actually setting a benchmark saying that that's apparently what we're worth.
Yeah.
Whereas the orthodontists charge, $15,000 to straighten a few teeth and move a few eyes. Not saying that they don't do a great job and that's a very technical job to do, but we actually need to know what we're worth. And when you actually have double qualification, you've seen 30,000 clients, you've worked with every sporting organisation, you've done what I've done, I still think I actually undercharge. And I charge $300 an hour. Whereas you speak to other health professionals in the industry and there's no way they're charging $300.
No, not even close. Absolutely.
So, I know I'm at the top end of my industry, but I actually think there needs to be people even above that level. And same thing when corporate, it's one of the things I probably have found difficult when I first started, that when you're doing TV work or endorsement work, how much is your brand, your name worth to that particular company? When you're doing a corporate health, how much,
I think this is a pertinent point for what you're saying, is that I think too many practitioners still just go time for money. And they go, I'm just spending 30 minutes with the client now. Oh, what's that worth? But the challenge with that, from where I see it, is it's not about your time of 30 minutes. It's about the fact of what you're giving them over the next 6 months, 12 months, the life skills. There's that great story about, like a Picasso painting. Like Picasso will go and do a painting in like 10 minutes and then go and hand it to you, Joe, and say, that's $1 million.
Yeah.
And the way people judge it at the moment, they go, but you only spent 10 minutes on it. And yet Picasso would have turned around and gone, no, you're not buying the 10 minutes I spent then. You're buying the 40 or 50 years of honing my craft and being able to produce that in 10 minutes. That's what you're actually buying. And when you think about that from an allied health point of view, they're not buying your 30-minute appointment or your 45-minute appointment or your 10-minute, your 1 hour, whatever it is. They are actually buying the expertise and knowledge of what you've done for 5, 10, 20, 30 years previously, and what your forward value is going to be for them in their life moving forward. That is what people need to think about, in my opinion. We should be talking about that on another podcast. Hey, number 4, what is it, Joe? Give it to me. Let's go. Number 4.
Number 4 in business is actually know the mountain you're climbing. And what I mean by mountain climbing is, what is your goal in business? I think some people just, I'm going to start seeing clients and that's my goal. And then once
I want to help people, I'm just going to do a bit of this and that. And
and they don't actually know. So they either get to a stage of their career and they're disappointed that they haven't achieved what they achieved. Like, is your goal opening? You know, sometimes people open 6 practices or 20 practices. If that's, you know, I want 100 practices across Australia. I want to, you know, change the world. You need to try and actually have a clear picture of what you're trying to achieve. And some people be okay with a small mountain. Like, sometimes people think I have to be big, I have to make lots of money, and then you find that your marriage is breaking down because you don't actually, you know, have enough time at home, and it's not really what you set out for. So I actually think have just a real clear picture of, is it a big mountain, small mountain? What kind of way is it? Big in one clinic, and you actually want that clinic to expand in multi-disciplinary, or whether you want to have multiple clinics, or is it that you want fingers in different pies of books and things like that. So I think that's a number.
I always say begin with the end in mind, and we reverse engineer. Literally, Covey taught us many years ago. So awesome. Number 4, boot us home. Number 5, Joe Turner's top 5, not the number 5 or any order, but just top 5 for right now. What is it?
Work smart, but also know that you have to work hard. So trying to work as cleverly as you can and not waste time, but don't think that working smart is that you only get to work an hour a day.
Hang on. So Tim Ferriss's 4-hour work week, is it true? Like, you can't just like click your fingers, work 4 hours and have a multi-million-dollar business. Really, Joe?
I mean, maybe you can, but that's not my experience. That I just think people need to realize sometimes young people, I don't want to work Saturdays. I don't want to work evenings. Then you don't want to be in private practice, because in private practice, you need to be available when the client wants you. Imagine if a restaurant says, I don't want to work evenings. I don't want to work Saturday nights. Restaurant business. That's when people want to come to the restaurant.
Yeah.
So be prepared that if you want to outsource some things, but you don't want to outsource everything, that your costs are so much bigger than your actual income. So you need to, yes, be smart with things, but you also have to work your backside off if you want to be successful, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, Joe, some awesome life lessons there for a lot of people, not just lessons on being a better practitioner or business-wise. They are your top 5 tips for this point in time for life and being a better and more successful allied health professional. Hey, thanks for being on board, and look forward to chatting with you again very soon.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Cheers. Hey guys, thank you very much for listening to another episode of the Profitable Practice Podcast. I would love nothing more than for you to be able to leave a review. I get so much joy out of listening and reading the amazing things that you guys say about this. So please subscribe to our channel, leave a review, and share it with your friends. Let's get some more fantastic information out there so all of us can grow the industry together. Cheers for now.